Friends, today we are going to discuss the installation procedure or pump. Now I'll discuss the pump suction line. Pump suction line, if you are using some expander or reducer, it should be eccentric. It should be eccentric and shall be installed with flat side on the top so that there should not be any accumulation of air. Similarly, for vertical pump, eccentric reducer to be used. Discharge line, eccentric reducer, concentric reducer to be used. For suction line, horizontal suction line, eccentric reducer, and for vertical pump, eccentric is concentric reducer. Concentric reducer. Then the pump suction line from the pump suction flange, it should be straight and what should be the straight length? Now 5 times the diameter of the pump suction flange. In between this, if suppose it is your five times, that means suppose it is 5 inch, that means up to 25 inch from the suction flange, there should not be any valve, T, reducer, strainer, etc. to ensure a uniform flow at the pump suction nozzle. A pump straight run length of 5 pipe diameter is usually sufficient to ensure stable and uniform flow at the pump suction nozzle. But if by any reason it is not possible, then you have to use a flow straightener so that the flow straightener to reduce the pipe straight line. Suppose straight line is not this much is available, so you have to use a straightener so that flow will be uniform. And the last pipe elbow in the pump suction line to pump shall be long radius elbow, shall be long radius elbow. And then if it is vertical pump, then you have to provide the support, adjustable support in suction and discharge line within 1 meter from the pump suction and discharge flange. Pump suction and discharge flange. This is the dimensions. You see, this one is a eccentric, means its top portion eccentric reducer. That means it is top portion is straight, bottom portion is angle, so that it will avoid accumulation of air. Then long radius, last radius should be long radius. Long radius should be long radius, and discharge line expander will be concentric. So what is it tells that suction line shall be designed with no high point to collect the air. High point should not be there so that it collect the air, air vapor. Pump suction line shall be arranged such that flow is smooth and uniform as practicable at the pump suction nozzle. So avoid to use short radius elbow, strainer near pump suction strainer, valve near pump suction line. And the fluid, if the fluid being pumped is near its vaporization temperature, the suction line shall be sloped minimum 10 millimeter per meter. Per meter 10 millimeter height should be there. This is the slope, so that the pump prevent accumulation of vapor. So slope will be like this. So slope will be like this per 10 millimeter per meter. So that you have to ensure. What is straightener? You see, this is the straightener we are using when the flow will pass through this, and etc. So it will be when there is a streamline veins are there, fixed veins are there, will pass through these lines inside the veins, it will become straightened. There should not be any vortex. So that is the reason the straightener should be used when 5D dimensions are or turbulence is there in the inlet fluid. So you have to use the straightener so that entry to pump suction should be should be turbulence free. You see the suction inlet line, you see the eccentric reducer they have used, you see the straight portion, straight horizontal portion is straight and eccentric portion is at the bottom. Similarly, you see the discharge line, it is a concentric, you see it is a concentric. This we are providing normally for what? Now to avoid accumulation of air. Now pipe to pipe flange. Your pipe to pipe flange, when it will be connected with your pump flange, the whole offset maximum should have be within 1.5 millimeter offset. Meaning the whole of the pipe flange and whole of the suction nozzles, suction flange should only maximum 1.5 millimeter offset is there, so that bolt can be inserted easily. There should not be any force is required to pull the suction line. Then face. What is the face? Face to face. Now face to face means, you see, if you see the face to face, that means 0.01 millimeter per centimeter এবং maximum offset should be 0.01 millimeter per centimeter. That means if it is a, suppose if it is 5-inch pipe suction, 5 means 125 125 millimeter, 12.5 millimeter centimeter. So 12.5 into 0.01 should be your face offset, is maximum allowable, or maximum it should be 0.75 millimeter. And how we will measure it? Now you have to put a feeler gauge between the two flanges and see the gap of the flanges. It should be maximum 0.75 millimeter, 0.75 millimeter. And for 10 inch and above, for 10 inch and below, 10 inch and below, it should be maximum how much? Now less than 0.5 millimeter. If it is more bigger than 10 inch, then 0.75, or if it is less than 10 inch, then 0.5 millimeter axial offset is acceptable. Flange gap should be how much? Now the gasket thickness, you know, if you how much you are using 3 millimeter gasket, then your maximum minimum flange gap should be how much? Now plus minus 1.5, means minus 1.5 to 4.5, 1.5 to 4.5. So I think